There we go. We are going to go ahead and get started today with area and perimeter. And so really perimeter is not, so we're working on multiplication standards and things that we need to do and know for multiplication. Perimeter is not something we use in multiplication, but when we look back and we reflected kind of on some of our pre-assessments that we did or the assessments we did at the beginning of the year, we noticed that some of us were doing perimeter to solve for area. And so we just thought it'd be important to kind of take a day and really focus on the difference between the two and really understanding how to solve for area versus how to solve for perimeter. So tomorrow we're going to focus more on the multiplication part of area and how that relates to multiplication. Today we're just really going to kind of focus on the difference between the two and how you solve for area versus how you solve for perimeter. So if somebody could read our goal for us. Let's see. Try to find somebody I hear from all the time. Denise, can you read the goal for us today?
Our goal today is to be able to recognize the difference between area and perimeter and use them to solve simple problems with
rectangles. Yes, so very good. Thank you. Sorry, I'm going to make Mrs. Fleischer a co-host really quick before we move on. There we go. Okay, so yep, we're looking at area and perimeter and just using those to solve simple problems about rectangles. So we're not working with other shapes today or any other quadrilaterals, just focus on area and perimeter when it comes to rectangles. We're going to look at just understanding first, what is the difference between area and perimeter? So area is the square units inside a rectangle. So when we're looking at a rectangle, we can count the squares. It's all those square units that we see on the actual inside of the rectangle. And perimeter is the distance around the outside of the rectangle. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen really fast so everybody can see me, because I have kind of like a little hand symbol I like to teach with this. And that is that I'm going to pin my video too, so it's bigger on the recorded lesson if people need to go back and look at it. So area is all the space in the middle. So we kind of like waving or filling in the middle in, that's area. And perimeter is the outside. So perimeter is around the outside. So area is the inside, perimeter is the outside. So if everybody could put your hands up, we're going to do that together a couple times. All right, so area is on the middle. So put your hand up, ready? So area, covering it, and then perimeter around the outside. Area covering the inside. Perimeter is the distance around the outside. Very good. Thank you, guys. I'll go back to sharing my screen here. So we're going to kind of talk about how do we figure out, because yes, we could count all of the squares inside a rectangle like on this one, but we're working on using multiplication to solve it, and they're not always going to see the squares on the inside. So what can we do to solve area versus finding perimeter when we don't have the inside drawn out like that with a grid? So Jay, can you read in the pink part how we find area of a rectangle?
To find area, we multiply the length and width of a rectangle.
Thank you. So area we're going to multiply. So the length is the distance that goes left to right. It kind of seems like that would be width, but when we're talking about rectangles, that's the length. So the length is 7 on this rectangle and the width is 3. So in order to solve that area for that, we're going to do 7 times 3, and we're going to get 21 square units. Okay, it's important to recognize square units. So whenever you find the area of a rectangle, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow, but it is square units. So if you're solving in inches, it would be square inches. If this was labeled feet, it would be square feet. And that's because we're actually, when we're doing 7 by 3, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw what that means. So that means if it was like an array, we would have, sorry, I have people who keep coming in. It means like we would have like separated into 7 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then 1, 2, 3 parts. And so we have the square units on the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. My squares aren't very square, but we get it, right? So that's that one part on the inside. So we're saying square units because it's saying that's how many we have on the inside, how many squares are created. Let's see. Corbin, can you read the part in blue about perimeter, please?
To find perimeter, we add the
Distance.
around the outside of the rectangle.
Thank you. So we're going to have the distance. Now, can anybody raise their hand? You'll notice down here on our rectangle, we see 7 right here, and we see 3 right here. But when we add the distance at the bottom, we have 7 plus 7 plus 3 plus 3 equals 20. Can somebody explain to me why we have 7 plus 7 plus 3 plus 3 and not just 7 plus 3? Because that's kind of a little tricky part of it. I think I saw Cynthia's hand. Cynthia, can you explain why we do 7 plus 7 plus 3 plus 3?
Because on the top is going to be the same on the bottom of 7. And on the in the width, it's going to be the same on the other side.
Okay, so if you guys couldn't hear her, she's saying, thank you, Cynthia, that's absolutely correct. We know about rectangles that opposite sides are congruent or equal. You guys learned that probably in 3rd grade and probably even earlier than that. We know that if this side up here is 7, that means this side at the bottom is also 7. And we know that this side on the left is 3, this side on the other side is also 3. So even though you only see the 7 and 3 at the beginning, we have to add all 4 sides to find the perimeter. So we have to add this 7, this 3, and this 7, and this 3. Now, you might be able to just, some people might want to do it where they do 7 plus 3 is 10, and then do that twice. Some people like to add the 7 and 7 and the 3 and 3 first, and that's fine. Whatever strategy you want to use to add up the outside, that's completely up to you. So one more time, hand signals. Area is the space in the middle, area. Everybody should be doing it with me, area. And perimeter is the distance all the way around the outside of the rectangle.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there is somebody who keeps turning their video off. And if it's not on within 30 seconds, I'm kicking you out and putting you in the waiting room. Thank you.
So then moving to the next slide, we're going to look at area and perimeter again. So we're going to work together to find the area and perimeter of the rectangle we see here. So can somebody first tell me, what are we going to do to find the area of the rectangle we're looking at? So we see that area, that rectangle is 8 by 4. Clay, what do we need to do just to find the area?
First, you need to add, since there's a 4 and an 8, you're going to need to put another 8 on the side and another 4 right there.
Okay, so Clay's saying just to make sure we remember, we're going to put the 8 here and the 4 here. All right, now we know what it is on every single side. When it comes to finding the area, what operation are we going to use? What are we going to do with the 8s and the 4s? Remember, area is the square units on the inside, so what do we need to do to solve that? Jay, go ahead.
Mr. Hoffman, you have some friends who cannot hear you for some reason. I hear you fine. I don't know if it's their Wi-Fi, but there are some messages in the chat box that they cannot hear you.
So it might be Wi-Fi, or they...
Because I hear you fine.
Or they need to join audio. So if you can't hear me, I guess they can't hear me saying this. So they might need to press the join audio button. Is there anybody who can hear me who can share when we're finding the area of this rectangle that's 8 and 4 on the sides, what we need to do to find the area? Somebody step up to the plate. What do we have to do when we're finding area? I'll go back to this page. There's a reminder. It says what we do in pink, what we need to do to get the area. We multiply the length and width. So going back to this one, what are we going to do to find the area of the rectangle we see? CJ.
Multiply the length and the width.
Yep. What's the length and the width? What two numbers are we going to multiply?
8 and 4.
Yep. So we're going to do 8 times 4. Anybody know that math fact off the top of your head?
Me.
What is it? So I'm going to give you guys a second. When you solve 8 times 4, if you can share, let us know.
It's dang, I forgot.
Everybody go ahead and work on solving it. When somebody knows 8 times 4, share it with you.
32.
32, right? So now, are we just going to leave our answer at 32? Remember, in area, what kind of units do we have?
Square units.
Square units. So 32 square units. If the units were inches, we would write square inches. We'll focus more on that tomorrow, though. All right. Perimeter. Who can tell me, somebody who's not gone yet, who can share with me what we're going to do to find the perimeter of this rectangle? Remember, perimeter is the distance around the outside. So, Ania, what are we going to do to find the perimeter around the outside of this rectangle?
You're gonna add up 8 plus 4.
So are we just doing 8 plus 4?
No.
So that's going to give us 2 of the sides. So we can go ahead and do what is 8 plus 4?
12.
12.
12.
So, Ania, I want Ania to answer this. Ania, what do we still need to do? So if we're looking at this, we've done this 8 and we've done this 4. What do we still need to do?
We need to do the other 8 on this side.
Yep, the other 8 and the other 4, right? So then we're going to do 8 plus 4 again. So now we've got all 4 sides equals 12. And now what do we need to do last? Somebody besides Ania, what do we still have to do? We found the one 8 plus the 4, and we found the other 8 plus the other 4. What do we still have left to do?
Add 12 plus 12.
CJ, make sure I call on you. I'm going to give somebody else a chance to think. Eric, what do we still need to do? I'll let you share because I saw your hand up.
Wow. Okay. I think it's 8 plus 4 equals, so 12 plus 12, I think it goes, I know, it equals 24. 24.
Very good. Thank you, Eric. So we're going to add all those together to get 24. Now on perimeter, we don't use square units. And the reason we don't use square units on perimeter is because we're just adding this distance around the outside. And that is not squares, right? That's just a straight line. So that's the reason why with perimeter, we add it together. We just use the straight lines. All right. We're going to do one now where you're going to have a whiteboard. You take your whiteboards or a piece of paper. You solve it on your own. I'm going to let you all know that the last 2 days we have said it and we have included it in your grade that when we say do something on your whiteboard or paper and you show us, you're getting 2 points. So on Monday, your quiz was out of 5 points. Everybody who did the work on their whiteboards got 2 additional points. So instead of 5 out of 5, if you got 100, you got a 7 out of 7 to boost your grade. Or if you got a 5 or a 4 out of 5, then you got a 6 out of 7 instead to boost your grade. The people who didn't do it missed those 2 extra points. All right. So they got a 5 out of 7 instead of 5 out of 5. So make sure you're doing it. So on your whiteboards, you are going to do this one right here. Find the area and perimeter for this rectangle. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to find the area and find the perimeter using whatever strategies you need to. 5 minutes. On your marks.
Okay.
Get set. Go. 5 minutes. Area and perimeter. Please do not show your whiteboards until the end when we ask you to show them to us. guys have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Remember, we're finding area and perimeter of that rectangle, doing both. Be ready to share the strategies you use to find the answer. Don't forget what kind of units you need for your area as well. Don't forget what kind of units you need for your area. This is your 1 minute, 30-second warning. Be ready if you're done to share your strategy. Tell us how you found the area and how you found the perimeter. See most people working on writing on their whiteboards, so thank you for taking time to do it that way. We have 30 seconds, and we're going to come back together and discuss it. Anita, do you have a question, or are you just waiting to volunteer your answer?
Waiting to volunteer my answer.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure you didn't have a question, need help. Okay, stop, and we're going to come back together. Go ahead and show me whiteboards or papers up. Hold it close to your screen if you can, because there's some people I can't see that well. Okay, let's see. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, whiteboards down. We're going to talk through them because I see a couple people I would like to use to share their examples. Henry, my man, we're going to start with you, Henry. Henry, tell us, what did you do to find the area of that rectangle?
So how I found the area was that so I multiplied 9 times 5 and I got 45.
Okay, so he's almost completely right. He did the 9 times 5 part. He did length times width to find the area. Every part of finding the numbers right. All the numbers that are on our screen that Henry wrote down are correct. What do we still need to do?
And for the perimeter,
No, stop. Not perimeter. What do we still have to do for area? Thank you, Henry. We have the numbers are all correct. Go ahead, CJ. What do we have to do?
Add square units.
Yeah, 45 square units, right? So we'll keep talking about that more and more tomorrow, but it is square units because we multiplied to kind of find basically what the squares or the array on the inside would look like. All right, I'm going to have somebody else do perimeter. Henry, thank you for sharing. Perimeter, Denise, I think I saw you did it right. Denise, talk us through what did you do to find the perimeter of the rectangle?
So I did 9 times 9.
9 times 9 or 9 plus 9?
9 plus 9.
Okay. What'd you get?
And I got
Did you erase it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 plus 9 is 18. We'll speed up a little bit. All right, and then what else do we still have to do?
So then you're gonna do so.
What's the other side? Who can help her out from here? What do we still have to do? So if Denise took the 9 and the 9 plus 9 and got 18, what do we still have to do? Cynthia, go ahead and we're going to pick up where Denise left off.
5 plus 5.
Why 5 plus 5, Cynthia?
Because on the square it has 5.
Yeah, so if you guys can see on the rectangle, this side is 9. And where Denise started, why she added 9 plus 9 is because she knows that means this side is 9. We have to count both of them, right? So then we had done this one. So then Cynthia said, okay, well, if this is 5, this side has to be 5. And then we're going to do this 5 plus this 5 and get 10. All right, so now we have our 18 for the 9 plus 9 and our 10 for the 5 plus 5. Corbin, what do we still have to do?
You have to add the 18 and the 10.
Very good. We
together.
add 18 and 10 to get the whole distance. And what is 18 plus 10, Corbin?
28.
28. Do we need to put square units on this one? Just give me a thumbs up for yes, we need to do square units, everybody. Give me a thumbs down for no, we don't need to do square units. 1, 2, 3, go.
Thumbs down.
I've got mixed results. That one's a thumbs down, right? Because this one's not the inside, it's just the distance around the outside. It's flat. So we only do square units on area. Perimeter, we don't do square units. We just add up the flat part on the outside. Okay. So your job today when we go, not yet, all right, is we're going to have a discussion. We have a discussion on area and perimeter. All it is one discussion. It's one rectangle. You need to find the area and perimeter, and in the discussion, you need to explain in detail how you found the area and perimeter. Okay, so you're not just going to say the answer. You're going to say the answer, and you're going to explain how you got your answer. Okay, and then after that, you should have plenty of time today. We have some people who have done a great job of getting on Dreambox and doing lessons. Thank you for those of you who have done that. If you know you haven't done that many, take some time today and hop on Dreambox and do a couple Dreambox lessons after you're done with the discussion, all right? So solve area and perimeter, explain how you did it, and then respond to 2 classmates. All right, that is your job on the discussion today.
You know what I did?